Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fat Mascara. What is today? January 10th. I'm Jen Sullivan. This is Fat Mascara, a podcast about beauty culture. How are you all? I want to go in my little grab bag of comments and reviews because, as you know, we here love a review. We love a comment. You could do that on iTunes if you listen there. Leave us a review, maybe some stars, depending on how you're feeling. Or go over to Spotify where you can comment on each episode. We're also uploading video clips from the episodes to Spotify now, so you may see those as well. Let me just see what we got going on here at Spotify most recently. Okay, before we get into the interview, this is from Amanda with many A's, Little. She says, so these are from over the break. This was Louis Hotchkiss, who was the candle maker we had on. She said, this interview was so interesting. It's actually so important for me as a brand owner who has candles in our catalog to see that even beauty experts don't read the instructions on candles, which I totally understand. It makes me want to change the way these instructions come with the product in a way that the consumer will actually read it. Thank you guys so much for all this content. I'm a big fan. Amanda, yeah. Maybe we should change the instructions. What are they, like on the bottom of the candle? I don't even know where they are, but I'm glad we gave you an idea. And I also love to hear that somebody that makes candles and is a beauty brand founder is a listener. So thank you. Oh, we have one more too that I wanted to read. This is from Vajiji Hadid, which might be the best screen name ever, commenting on our last episode with Garrett. Never skip a Garrett episode. We got a clap emoji. We got a praise hand emoji. The absolute best. Love this one. Super insightful. You learn something new every day. Well, I have news for you, Vajiji Hadid. Garrett will be back. I think his next episode is January 22nd, so that's less than 2 weeks away. But today, of course, is Friday, which means we've got an interview for you. So this one is both a hangout session and a beauty gossip session for me, and an insightful look into what's going on in South Korean beauty for you right now, which I think gives you a sense of where beauty is headed and the next big things about beauty here in the United States. So I am welcoming to the studio Jenny Jin, journalist Jenny Jin. She is a Korean-American writer and editor currently living in Seoul, which she's going to tell us all about. She was most recently the beauty director at Pure Wow, where she oversaw the beauty vertical, and wrote a weekly newsletter for millennials. She's also written for and worked for outlets such as Real Simple, Travel and Leisure, Forbes, Cup of Joe, and more. I know you're going to love Jenny as much as I do. So we do have a little bit of gossip. It's kind of a long interview, but she shares so many insights about what she's seeing right now in Seoul, South Korea, and the nails, the skin, the makeup, all of it. So it's just a really fun episode. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. Jenny Jin, welcome. Welcome to Fat Mascara. Hi.
Hello, Jen. So excited to be here.
This is, I think, the biggest time difference interview I've ever done. Where are you in South Korea? Where are you based right now?
I'm in Seoul right now. Yes.
Okay, what time is it?
It is currently 11:12 p.m.
Do we all love Jenny for coming in the middle of the night to talk to me? It's 9 a.m. here in New York City. We're doing a global podcast today.
Yeah, we had a lot of math that had to happen in between to figure out the right time.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you on Fat Mascara. So I've known you for years, but just for a little background for our listeners, tell me about your journalism background. You're me, but based in Seoul. That's what I'm saying to myself.
Oh, that's flattering, Jen.
Stop it.
Well, so my path to journalism wasn't necessarily linear, I would say. When I graduated from college, I actually worked in nonprofit near DC, and it was in solid waste and recycling. So very opposite from beauty. And I did
you're not me in Seoul, but keep going.
I did all of their marketing, email campaigns, and then I switched over to their conferences. So I was planning these events for all these burly men across North America. It was quite an experience. But after that, I decided I wanted to move to New York, like many other 20-something-year-old people, I guess. It was always something I wanted to try. And so if I'm being honest, I took the first paying job that I could to New York. So it wasn't a dream job. It was a means to an ends. And it ended up being at an investor relations firm. So again, very much not beauty. And it wasn't until maybe a year or so into my New York life that I started to really think about what it is I actually want to do. And being in New York, surrounded by all these magazines, these media brands, I started to see all these editors on Instagram and Twitter posting about their days. I'm pretty sure you were one of them, to be honest.
Oi. All right.
But I just looked at it like so starry-eyed, it just felt like, this is it. This is what I want to do next. So I just started reaching out to all sorts of editors, asking for any sort of informational coffee. Do you need an intern? Can I do anything for you? I did that for about 8 months. And then I got my first job at Real Simple with Dee Dee Gluck, who is a lifelong friend at this point.
And you were in the beauty department.
I was in the beauty department. I was her assistant. Yep.
So from there, like, did you find yourself gravitating towards a beat within the beauty world? Like, there's so many different things you could be writing about and reporting on. What's the Jenny Jin thing?
For sure. Always skincare. I'm going to owe that to growing up as a Korean, being surrounded by it. And nails. I always loved nails. I mean, I just always love the fun designs.
Guys, her nails are so good right now.
There's a Miffy.
Wow. We have to get into that. And that is kind of the reason we're doing this podcast. Jenny told me she was moving to Seoul. And I was like, I need to know everything about, why you're moving. Let's actually ask that first before I hear about the beauty culture in South Korea. So what inspired this move?
Honestly, it is an itch that I've always wanted to scratch since I was probably 8 years old when I first got into K-pop. I just was always fascinated with the culture here, the music, my cousins who lived here. I just wanted to know more about it. And all of my visits just felt too short, I'd come and be able to stay for 10 days at a time, if that, right? And I thought to myself, one day, maybe I can live in Korea, even if it's just for a couple months, just have my adult version of study abroad. And yeah, I didn't think it would actually happen when it happened, but I think that's also part of it. I realized at some point that there was never going to be an ideal time to try something like this.
To pick up and move halfway across the world.
Right. But, I had been at my job for a long time at this point. I had just gone through a season of illness. I got out of a long-term relationship, like TMI, like all of these life changes that made me feel like, Jenny, you are healthy. You have savings. It's now. If you don't do it now, I just didn't want to be this old lady thinking about like my regrets. Like, why didn't I go to Korea when I could,
Now I just want to dig into this and not beauty because I'm just like, tell me more about this. So do you feel like now, how long have you been living there now?
Just short of 2 months. I'm coming up on my 2-month anniversary.
Was it a good decision?
Yes.
What are you doing there?
The thing is it's not like, oh my God, this place is perfect. It's, it's not. It's that it feels, how do I put this? I feel at ease. I just feel at ease. And I feel excited about the silliest, smallest things in my day. I'm constantly swooning over trees because there was no foliage in LA where I was last living. And the beauty scene here too, like, of course I'm going to be looking at that. And I have to be honest with you, after being a beauty editor for over a decade, I started to get a little jaded about some things. It takes a lot to excite us after a while. I'm going to, being honest.
No, absolutely. I'm sure people can hear that as they listen to this podcast. I think that's why they come to Fat Mascara too, because like we're not just like rah-rah. We like to dig in and be a little bit critical thinkers, which I know you are.
Exactly. So I kind of hit it was like all roads pointing to this. And I'm here now and I feel excited again. And by beauty too. I'm just going into the stores and looking at things through the eyes of my teenage self, just excited to see the new thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like that feeling of fandom a little bit comes back that you probably had early in your career. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So who are you hanging out with in South Korea? Like, did you have family? Did you have friends? Are there beauty editors there? Is there because I would see you at events at things in New York City, and I want to know what your life is like now.
Yeah, so I think, well, first of all, I'm staying with my fabulous aunt. She is retired, single, empty nester. Just check, check, check. And so I hope I'm keeping her company and helping out just as much as she's helping me by giving me a place to stay. So that's nice having that
Is
home
she a
base.
beauty girl?
Yes, but how do I put this? She's like the most low-key, high-key beauty gal that I know.
Okay, go on.
This is how. She doesn't wear makeup. She doesn't really get dressed up, but her skincare is another level. She goes to the Korean bathhouse almost every single day where she puts on honey masks and hair treatments, and she's always massaging her face, and she has this new face that I gave her a couple years ago. She does it religiously.
The device.
The device.
Yeah.
She pops it on when she's watching TV, and she keeps up with it, which I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to keep up with those devices.
The devices, like I know they work if you work them, and I have never been able to make it part of my practice. And that's what I tell everybody. I'm always like, yeah, you have to do it every day though. But so Auntie does.
Auntie does, and it shows because that woman is...
She looks good?
She looks good, yes.
Oh, we can all learn from her. Okay, so you're living with your aunt, and are you writing? Are you reporting? What's going on?
Honestly, the first month I was here, I told myself, Jenny, please take this rare moment of break to actually take a break. Let your mind empty. But even 2 weeks in, I started to feel a little antsy. I'm kind of like, oh, should I be doing something, you know? So that said, I have slowly started freelancing, but I have been trying my very best to be mindful about the things that I take on right now. I know that's like a luxury to say, and I think it's because I'm staying with my aunt, right? So I'm not worrying about room and board, for instance. I have savings, like all those logical things. But yeah, so, and it's been interesting because since coming to Korea, there's been very fun opportunities. Even this right now, us talking about this transition that I'm in, it's not something that, I don't know, it's not that something that I would have sought out or that I would have expected to happen had I been staying stagnant in my career, I guess, or life even, not even just career.
You're making me want to do a whole other spinoff. It's not even a spinoff podcast, a podcast about what happens when you like upend your life and go somewhere else. Because I think a lot of people have this dream of, you know, my life will be, you're still you, but like in another place, you can be a new you. It's like when you go off to say college, if you go to college, like, who am I here?
Yeah.
And it's like, who is Jenny in Seoul, South Korea? It turns out you still like beauty, Jenny.
Yeah, and turns out I like it even more again.
Yeah. So tell me this, so the reason I wanted to talk to you, we're going to have to do like a sidebar, just you and me personally and getting into all that. But the reason I wanted to talk to you for the Fat Mascara listeners was we see often South Korea as the future of beauty. A lot of the trends that make their way to the States, you know, they start there. And we've talked about this on the podcast before. And so I wanted us to talk about 2025 as a whole, like what's going on in Korea, which is probably what we can expect to be going on, I think, in the United States in a bit and around the world in a bit. But I also just wanted to hear, because I know this is one of the most beauty cultures around the world, what it's like there. So tell me about, like, first the media landscape. Like, where do you notice other women and men getting their beauty information from in South Korea in these days?
Honestly, I feel like in many ways it's kind of similar to the States, especially with younger generations. Everyone is finding their information online, on social media. A lot of YouTubers. I swear there's more beauty YouTubers here than anywhere else. And I don't know if that's because I'm being targeted at that now, but I open YouTube and my whole Explore page is all beauty influencers now. So
yeah,
a lot of that, a lot of word of mouth, even more so than
Are there any
the States.
that you've been drawn to that I might not know about? I mean, there's plenty I don't know about, but like...
That's something I need to think about because I have fallen down too many rabbit holes since being here with the YouTubers.
And you're watching Korean language?
I'm watching Korean language. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I need to think of which ones have subs because there are some Korean Americans who've lived here for a long time who are also beauty influencers here. They're fun to follow.
Is this in your future, Jenny?
I don't know, Jen. I don't know. I don't know because I'm constantly the later grammer. You know, I never post things in the moment. I'm always like way later. Maybe I'll post it.
You have to process. You have to process.
I have to process. And even after that, I overthink it a lot of the time. So I don't
know. Okay, so people are going to YouTube, social media. Is TikTok there?
Yes, it is a thing, but I also feel like it's not as big as in the States. Obviously, my sample size, the few people I talked to about this, they said that it's because of they don't trust it. They're kind of sus about the TikTok.
Okay.
But again, it's not like I
Is there a
pulled every
social
Korean.
shopping scene? Like in a social shopping scene, like I know it's huge in like in China, for example, and it started to trickle into the United States where like we're doing that social selling shopping thing where you're like, am I entertained or am I buying stuff? Is that part of the media landscape as well?
It is, but I've got to say, when you first said social shopping, I thought you meant like socially you're out in the wild shopping because that's what I've been doing since I've gotten here.
Oh, let's get into that then. But no, I did mean like they're on for 3 hours straight, like QVC, but brought to you in your phone kind of vibes.
Yes, and there's actually a home shopping network that the fabulous auntie that I told you about orders things from often.
What's the name of the network?
She calls it home shopping. I don't know if there's an actual...
The English word is what is used there. So
literally, I'm like, I hope there must be a real name for it, but she always refers to it to me as home shopping.
So there's the home shopping, but then there's you out in the world experiencing the retail experience in South Korea and Seoul. What are you seeing? Like culturally speaking, like what's it like to be a beauty consumer in South Korea right now?
Oh my gosh. Okay, where do I even begin? I have so much to say about this. There's so much to buy. There's so much temptation. Even for me, I try to be very critical about the things that I'm purchasing, but the packaging, the experience of these stores, everything is so sensorial. Everything smells good. Everyone looks so polished who's selling it to you, but also the consumers themselves. It's just, I don't know. I had to literally write a Post-it, Jen, that is telling me the things that I cannot buy because I already bought too many of them.
Wait, what's on the Post-it?
Oh my goodness. First of all, lip products. I purchase any lip product that looks cute.
What are you holding up? What is that?
This is a lip tint from a brand called Color Gram. It's so cute and delicious. I mean, I have so many lip tints now. So that's on my list. That's one of the things on my list.
The no-no list. No more lip tints.
The no-no list. Have I followed through with it? Not strictly.
And so tell me about like the road shops and the retail. Are these like Ulta-like, Sephora-like for people who haven't been to Korea? Like what is the retail experience in beauty?
Yeah, so I think the primary retailer that everyone who comes to Korea knows about and shops at is Olive Young. Olive Young is basically Sephora, but they also have a snack section and an adult beverage section, I found out recently, where they sell wine and soju and hard kombucha. Yeah, so it's a one-stop shop.
Smart strategy, get people a little loosened up.
That's what I'm saying. So, and they have supplements too. But mostly the focus is on beauty, and depending on where in Seoul you go to an Olive Young, some of them are small, some of them are three floors with like different themes. This is the hair floor, this is the fragrance section, They're everywhere. When I say they're everywhere, I mean you can't walk 10 blocks without running into one.
And this particular shop, not even a beauty shop.
So imagine walking and seeing Sephora every couple blocks. It's like that. You see it everywhere. So that's the number one.
An omnipresence of beauty retail.
Correct. No, for real. And so that's the one that comes to mind first and foremost. And then there's a one that opened recently that I think it's more of a if you know kind of situation as of now still. It's called Hemeko, and a YouTube famous hairstylist named Kiyu, Kiu, he, I think, opened this store, and the whole concept is convenience store beauty. So that's the way they kind of laid out the store. There's like all these wire bins with tons of beauty products in them. And he features a lot of indie brands. So I had a lot of fun visiting that store recently, actually. And some of my favorite new finds are from Hemeko.
And what's the price point like for Hemeko, for example? Are we talking drugstore level, like prestige?
I want to say most items are closer to... If we're talking drugstore, I'm talking like La Roche-Posay drugstore,
Okay.
Like a little...
All right, prestige, if you will.
Yes, exactly.
Do beauty consumers in South Korea think about it that way, of the levels of like, okay, drugstore, prestige, luxury, or is that not how it works?
Honestly, from what I've seen just out in the wild, it seems like people go olive young or really expensive. You know, there's like no, they're not really like thinking about all the levels. It's just,
I've noticed that too, like a
yeah,
shift towards really high end and then your basics, your elf, your NYX, that kind of thing. And
yes.
then middle ground kind of falling out a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty similar here too.
Okay, so how was your Hemiko experience? Did you enjoy?
So fun. I walked out with a full basket that I had to lug across the city back home. But it's just, I'm looking at my desk right now because I have stuff all around me. Oh,
Well, we're going to get into products, but
okay.
I'm curious, like, as a critical thinking journalist, like knowing that beauty is on every block, do you think it affects the way you're thinking about beauty personally and or the people that are there, your friends and family? Is it more top of mind? Like, how does that affect the way you walk through life?
For me, it definitely became top of mind. I'm slowly starting to get a little more grounded back to LA Jenny, who is very no makeup, sweatpants kind of gal for the most part. But my first month here, I was almost kind of obsessed with it in a way that I didn't like. You know, I just felt like I had to go outside with a polished face. I couldn't go out with no makeup. Not couldn't, I felt like everyone else looked so polished, so I should at least keep up a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt this sort of pressure to look a little bit more put together than I usually would feel back in LA. But I thought about it and I did have some of those feelings in New York too when I was living downtown.
Okay. I know what you mean. Like, culturally, you want to bring it because other people are bringing it, if you
Mhm.
will.
Yes. And you're so up close and personal with so many people being on public transit all the time. I feel perceived.
I remember my friend Maureen, when we visited Seoul together, I asked her how to say excuse me in Korean, when you bump into somebody.
Yeah.
Do you have to fact check me on this? And she said to me, she's like, oh, we don't have a word for that. If you said excuse me every time you bumped into somebody in Seoul, like you'd never get anywhere.
No, it's true. It's so
So
true.
what
I'm
do you
thinking about
say?
this. You don't say anything. If anything, sometimes maybe you'll give them a little, like a little,
Like a mini bow. Like a sorry, moving
a
on.
mini nod, maybe
A
even.
nod, a chin nod.
If
Okay.
that, the elders, some of the elders, you don't even get that. You're just kind of business as usual. It's
It's true
different.
though. Like we ain't got time for that. We gotta get to Etude House. We gotta go to Olive Young.
We got to go to
We gotta like,
Hemiko. We got plans.
yeah. Actually, is Etude House still big there? Like, is that a retail shop that you've been in?
Honestly,
I
I
know it's
know.
also a brand, but
Well, that's hard to say because I was about to say I don't think it's as big, but maybe it's just that there's so many other things now. You know?
yeah. My reference is dated. Sorry, guys.
No, that's the speed here, though. I feel like 6 months later, my references are going to be dated. It just moves so
Yeah.
quickly, the trends here, and the products, and what's hot and what's not.
You've talked to me about the retail. I'm curious as you walk around and are meeting people and talking to people, like what about the treatment and surgery? Because we hear about people sometimes going to South Korea for plastic surgery because it is less expensive there, because they are pretty far advanced in some of their techniques. Is that something that infiltrates everyday life for you?
I do think that, yes. I was trying to think. No, it has. It has. I've become a little bit more, I've been obsessively researching things that I never really thought about as much of back home in the States, which is crazy because I worked in beauty for so long, right? But here, I don't know, there's so many options and everyone's talking about how they did it and how the results were so great. It's so normalized. Pretty much any meeting that you go to, you'll hear someone talking about some skin procedure that they did or treatment that they tried. A lot of lifting lasers. That's like the one that I'm currently doing a lot of research on before I plunk down the money.
Okay, so a lifting laser, what does that mean to us? What is that?
It's basically, there's two gold standards in lifting lasers. It's Ultherapy and Thermage. And they actually sell it as a combo here often at skin clinics. And they call it Ulthamaji.
Okay. So you're getting the ultrasound and the is it heat or it's radio
It's
frequency?
heat. Thermage
So
is
neither of
heat.
them are technically lasers, but the whole idea is like, we're putting a device on your skin, these two devices, quote unquote lasers, and you're going to look lifted.
They call it lifting lasers. And then there's all these other versions of these types of lasers, Korean versions like Oligio or Shrink, like all these names I've never heard of. So this is why I'm on these YouTube rabbit holes, Jen. So
Are you tempted?
I'm so tempted. I am tempted. I am very tempted. Check back with me in like 2 months. I might have gotten Ursamaji.
What age, though, are people? So here in the States, I would say by the time you're looking at Ultherapy and that type of treatment, you're hitting 40 is my guess. Not to judge anybody's choices earlier or later. But what age are we talking about in South Korea where people start to think about these kind of treatments?
I mean, I have seen people in their mid to late 20s do weaker versions of it. There are less strong versions that you could do that are also cheaper. So I've seen younger influencers talk about doing these treatments. But I think by the time you're in your 30s, I think that's when a lot of the women here start to do more of these procedures, is what I've been gathering from just talking to local people, talking to my cousins, talking to friends. And I'm right in that demo.
Like, what percentage do you think, and this is obviously you've not done a study and I'm not asking you, but I'm just like, as you're talking, you're saying at meetings, cousins, friends, it sounds like anytime you're talking to a woman there, at some point, this kind of thing will come up and like the majority of the population that can afford to are taking part. Is that right?
That's certainly how it feels. Definitely way more than back in LA, you know? I don't know. I just
Which is itself like one of the places in the States where a lot of that stuff is happening.
For sure. And I have to remind myself, I don't know, just because I'm talking to people who are doing this, it doesn't necessarily mean that the whole of Seoul is doing this, but it is definitely way more prevalent here than anywhere else I've lived or visited. That's for sure.
What other treatments are you hearing about? The lifting laser being one. What else are people talking about?
Rejuran. Well, we say in Korean, everything, the pronunciation of English words is...
No, give me I want to feel like I'm there.
You want to
give
feel,
me the full...
Rejuran.
Okay.
But you might have heard of it. It's the salmon sperm injections. PDRN.
Why did it get that name? First, tell us about it, and then can we discuss how that became what it's searched for online? But go ahead. What is this?
Basically, they take molecules from salmon DNA. I prefer to call it DNA, but they do call it salmon sperm. I think it's like the alliteration, the click-headiness of it all. It's catchy, but it's all the rage here. It's every skin clinic you go to, they're marketing it everywhere, and all the influencers talk about it. You see these crazy pictures of people with the embossing on their face.
Right. So it's like you're getting microneedled and then spreading this serum from the DNA of the salmon.
Of the salmon.
And it's penetrating. How much is someone charging for that kind? Do they call it a facial or they just call it Rejuran?
They call it Rejuran. And depending on where you get it, you either get it microneedled in with like one of those stamping devices, but they say that's less effective. The more effective route is to get it injected point by point all over your face. Your face is getting hundreds of pricks, and it's going deeper than your typical microneedling. So I heard it's very painful.
Right. Almost like if you were doing Skin Vive, which is like the HA filler at the micro level like that, but all over, and they do a map on your face and they just hit all the spots. Do you know anybody that got it done?
Yes, so many people. And
Tell me, what did they say?
My friends who were visiting from the States, they all did it at the end of their trip. They made it part of their itinerary. So most people say that it's very good for adding moisture to your face. They call it sokkwang, which is like the moisture or the shine that comes from within. It's hard to
Yes. We just had a big discussion, luminosity or radiance. Like, is there a difference? But say this word again for me.
Sokkwang.
Sokkwang. And that's like I'm lit from within glow, kind of.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. That favorite phrase that we all used a million times.
How many times have we written that? Okay. So the Rejuran just does that.
Yes. But it's famous for being painful. It's famous for the embossing that it leaves behind. People say that it's I've heard anywhere between 1 to 3 days to a week. It just depends.
That you're not going to look good before everything starts to kick in.
That's right. It takes a bit of time. And then of course, this is what we hear this about so many treatments, but they say you see the real effects after you do a series of them, you know?
Spoken like me. I'm always like, is that just to get us to buy more?
So I don't know. I don't know, but I am curious. I think I'm more curious because one of my biggest hesitations about trying Rejuran is I heard it hurts like a mother. Like they say it hurts so much. So I was a little nervous about that, but I had skin Botox done maybe 2 weeks ago, and that apparently is supposed to be very painful too, but I thought it was totally bearable, personally.
Tell us about your skin Botox experience and what that is.
So basically, they take a form of Botox. They use a lot of local Korean or domestic Botox here if you want to save some money, but they also offer, the Allergan Botox and Dysport, and I never say this right, Xiaomin? Xiaomin?
Yeah. Oh, in my head, it's always been not that, but go ahead. Yeah.
I could have said it wrong. I'm the one with Joe Jonas.
No, I never. You know those words you see but don't really say out loud?
Oh, so many of them in beauty.
Yeah, so many. But okay, but there's also Korean-made neuromodulators and neurotoxins. Okay,
Correct.
so skin Botox, we're calling it. And is that what it's called in Korean? Did they use the Botox term?
No, they just call it Botox, but when they say skin Botox, what they mean by that is they take the Botox of your choice, they dilute it so it's weaker, and then they inject it again, one by one, just like Rejuran, and into, I want to say it's the dermis, or it's either the dermis or it's between like the fat and the dermis. It goes a little bit deeper than you want it to, basically.
But not all the way that I'm immobilizing a muscle.
Correct. And that's kind of one of the selling points of it, is that you still retain movement, but you smooth out the overall appearance of your skin. So people say that it looks more natural, and because it's on the surface more so, it has more of like a tightening effect with your pores especially. So
What have you noticed?
So 2 weeks in, I will say, this is what I noticed. My makeup wears better. I'd say the overall surface of my skin appears smoother, but I didn't get the shine that I was hoping for because I hear that this is something that a lot of K-pop idols do before a big show or something. It's part of their routine. So I was kind of expecting to be like a reflective surface after doing this once.
That's because you didn't get your Rejuran too, Jenny. No, okay. So like it's like your pores almost kind of just like relax a little or suck up a little. Okay, got it. Like I put on a tight astringent, but not that feeling.
Exactly. And
okay, I can picture it.
You can picture it, right? And then like even your forehead, if I get Botox, and just even like, it's very sensitive, my forehead, so I get a droop, I get ptosis very easily. So with skin Botox, they're saying it's much less likely to happen because you're not hitting the muscle. That's what they say.
Can I ask what you spent on your skin Botox treatment?
Yeah. So I actually got the skin Botox done as part of a package with a lifting laser, one of the lifting lasers I told you about.
Oh, okay.
But not the one that not Thermage or Ultherapy or any of the versions of that. In hindsight, I'm kind of like, why didn't I just go straight for that? I think because I know that's like $3 signs as opposed to $2 signs. I had a little more hesitation. But this one, it's called Winback.
So you got a package with Winback and Skin Botox, which
Correct.
is quote, medium expensive at the clinic that you went to. And how much did you pay for this?
All in all, it was, I want to say the equivalent of $600 USD. But it's the Winback laser that really added the dollar sign there.
Because skin Botox alone would be, how much do you think?
Honestly, probably 100. I would quote it at about 100. And you can get it cheaper too, I've heard, because there's, so many skin factory, or they're skin clinics, but they're so big and they operate on such a scale that I've heard the prices are extremely affordable.
Under $100 for Botox would be unheard of in the United States.
Unheard of. I know. It's wild. I do a double take. And the conversion right now is so in the USD's favor.
Oh, yeah.
It's a plus for anyone who's traveling. So that's actually a big thing here.
You got this double treatment. Like, what was the experience like and how long did it take?
This is something that I love about any kind of beauty treatment in Korea. The service is it's top notch. The thing that I was most impressed about was the aftercare. And what I mean by that is directly after you get your treatment done, they have this whole red carpet situation, like where they massage your face, they do some cryotherapy if they've heated up your face to cool it down. They will do a modeling mask also to help bring down any inflammation. They'll do a sheet
What's a
mask on
modeling
you.
mask?
Oh, those rubber masks. Remember
Okay.
they're popular for a while and they cover your face and you just look like a rubber person. They do that for you. They hit you with a red light panel to help speed up the healing.
Oh, to bring down inflammation or whatever.
This is all part of whatever treatment you get. I got that Winback laser. I got the Skin Botox. I was offered that awesome post-care right afterwards. I don't know. It's like part and parcel almost, it seems.
So it was like a spa day. It wasn't like a clinical, like I went to the doctor and got a thing and now I leave.
Yeah, or you get the thing and that part might hurt, but afterwards they treat you well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was impressed with that part because I feel like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm going to the wrong places, but anytime in the States that I've gotten any sort of Botox or any sort of treatment, maybe they'll give you an ice pack if you ask, and then you're bye.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I also think it's like going to the hair salon or anywhere. Every time a little bit of an add-on, like the rubber mask, they'll charge you extra for it. And by the time you leave, sometimes you feel like, did I get my money's worth? But it sounds like things are definitely much more affordable as far as beauty treatments.
Yeah, and I think that has to just do with the competition, right? There's so many clinics and there's so many hair salons and there's so many nail salons. They have to keep the prices.
Let's get into it because I'm looking at your manicure. So what have you been doing with your nails since you've been there and what's the nail scene like right now?
My goodness. The nail scene is lit. There's just so many really creative artists here. Basically anything you can imagine in your head, I want to try this. You can find an artist who can do it. And it's interesting too because I feel like each nail salon or artist kind of has their own aesthetic. Like there's this one salon that I really like called 5 by 5 by 5. They have several locations throughout Seoul and their whole aesthetic is very artistic. Like they always do a Monet-based nail art one month, and they'll do different variations of that depending on the season. So I really like going to them for those types of designs. My most recent design is from our girl, Unistela. She's still going strong, and she did a Miffy manicure for me because I've been really into Miffy, the little bunny. You know the bunny? Okay.
I saw when you showed me the nail, but I didn't know that was their name. Hi, Miffy.
Yes.
Miffy, you guys have seen Miffy. Miffy is like everywhere.
I have a Miffy phone stand right here on my desk.
Yes, there's Miffy.
That's Miffy.
So Miffy's on your nails. Is it powder dip? Is it gel? Is it UV gels? Like, what are we calling it in Seoul?
Oh my goodness. This one in particular, okay, how do I explain this? She printed designs of Miffy using a printer at home on laser paper, which she then brought to the salon. She cut out these designs and kind of stretched them over my nail like saran wrap.
Okay.
So it's almost, is that like screen printing almost?
A decal, and then she shellacked it on with like a clear polymer of some sort?
With a top coat of gel polish, which she then cures. Gel. But then in addition to that, if there are little details, like Miffy over here, I'll explain it since this is an audio medium. She'll add, Miffy had 1 star in this screen printed thing. She thought Miffy needed 4 more stars. So she'll hand paint that on, very fine details.
Like collage work, the layering of like a collage that an artist would do.
Correct. I may or may not be writing a story about this in the near future. So I don't want to say too much, but that is something.
Is there a particular term that is used for that? Or this was just like a regular manicure at 5 by 5 by 5?
This is a regular manicure for Unistela for sure, because I feel like she's very experimental,
Yeah. Treating it like little mini canvases.
Little mini canvases. Whereas 5 by 5 by 5, one of the things that I appreciate about them is that they have a very strong aesthetic and they don't veer too far from it. You know what you're going to get when you go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does everybody getting gels who's going to, because this nail art, I assume if you have a great artist do it, you want it to last.
Yeah. I was going to say 10 out of 10, but I feel like at least 9 out of 10 people at the nail salon, they're getting gels. And I see women of all ages with nail art. It's so fun, actually. I love being on the subway and when someone like grabs a handle or something and I look at their nail art And it's, I don't know, someone my auntie's age. My auntie is late 60s, and she'll have like a glitter accent here and a bunny on the other.
Yeah. What about the volume building? Like, I know for a while here in the States and also in Korea and Japan, like they were really plump looking,
Mm-hmm.
like built up. So like it was high, the volume on the gel. Is volume building still big?
I feel like it is starting to slowly die down, just based on my subway observations.
No, that's why I'm asking. You're a beauty journalist, like
Yeah,
out and
because I'm
about. Of
looking.
course you're
I'm
going to
always
have a,
looking. Yeah.
yeah.
I do see less drastically built up nails recently. Yeah.
You know how that was a thing. I was just like, they looked like aquariums, like a terrarium sometimes with the clear gel was so
Like a
thick, but there'd be
bubble.
something, yeah, like bubble nail. Wasn't it called bubble nails for a
Some
while?
people called it bubble nails, but Jen, it's like these names that we've helped come up with. But yes, the bubble nail trend. I think it's not that it's gone. It's just there was a moment. I think I came last summer. I think it was last summer. Everyone had this nail. To your point, it was everywhere. And 5 by 5 by 5 also had a lot of bubble nails within their menu of designs. But I think this most recent time that I've been going to the nail salons, I'm seeing a little bit less of that offered. Interesting.
Are there any other trends as you're out and about and looking, like, for example, Doyen blush was big for a while, or glass skin, that you are just sort of zeitgeisty and around in South Korea right now?
I think the first thing that always pops out to me is just the different placement of blush, which is something that I started to see even back when I was living in LA, just because I'm even living in the States, I was keeping up with K-beauty to an extent, right? Because I'm interested in it and I'm a K-pop fan. So I look at what they're doing with their makeup. But yeah, the blush placement is so different here.
How so?
First of all, it's very much concentrated to like the center of your face. You shouldn't go past your eyes.
So directly beneath your pupil, if you were looking straight
Correct.
ahead.
Yeah, so this area is where I see a lot of people put on their blush and then across their nose a little bit, kind of like that sunburnt look that was going on for a
Yeah.
while. So I see a lot, and I see it a lot around the eyes too, like up here.
Yeah.
So it's very
She's doing
different.
brow bone, very
Yes.
top of cheekbone barely. And like it's more concentrated and center facing. None of that blush draping and pulling backwards and contouring and foxing it out and all
Nope,
that.
very concentrated. And the whole purpose is to make your face look, I think the term that I heard is shorter. It's almost like you want your face to look shorter in the sense that you want to make it look rounder and more youthful. So that's the thing. All roads, is that right? All roads, all signs point to looking youthful. Like all
So
the trends.
cherubic, if you will.
Cherubic is a great word. Yes.
Okay. And what color, like, is it everybody's getting the same color blush? Are you picking based on your skin tone? What's hot?
A little more.
What's hot right now, Jenny?
What's hot? A little more skin tone. But here's the other thing too. At Olive Young stores, when you go to the displays, if you go to a blush or lip color, they say cool best, warm best. Like there's a little sticker that indicates, and that's telling you like for the cool tones, this is the best seller. For the warm tones, this is the best seller. So people are very cognizant of their tones, I guess.
Is it based on their undertone of their skin, or just these are the cool pinky reds and colors like that, and these are the warm beigey bronzes and colors like that?
More of the latter, and I think it kind of ties in with that whole color analysis thing that was going on, still going on, but really reached a fever pitch.
Meaning, like, what are your seasons and what are your undertones?
Seasons? Yes, which I was very much schooled on.
When you were in LA?
When I was in LA, I thought I was a warm something. I thought I was a summer or spring or something, but apparently I'm a cool winter.
No, I would have said that. I'm a
Really?
winter too. Yeah, I see for sure.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're at Olive, I keep wanting to say Olive and Young. Is that right?
Just Olive Young, no and.
So when you're at Olive Young shopping, the blush is hot. Tell us about some of the other brands, because they sell many brands, right?
So many brands.
What are some of the brands that you've discovered?
I think at Olive Young, the hot brand of this year, one of them would probably be Fwee, Fwee, which is fun to say. They have this one product that was very popular. It's called like a lip pudding pot, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a little pot and it has a really cool texture to it, really cool colors. I think that was one of the best sellers for sure. And then in the skincare department of Olive Young, Oh, there's this brand called Torriden, and they make this great sheet mask that's very affordable and always goes on sale, and it's all based around hyaluronic acid.
What else have you? Now, I know you're not allowed to buy because we have that Post-it going on, but like, what are some other treats that you've picked up since you've moved to Seoul?
Beauty or non-beauty?
Oh, tell me beauty first. How about that?
Oh, okay. Other treats that I've purchased here. Oh, perfume. I've been surprised. I don't know why I'm just picking up on this now, but there's so many local Korean perfume brands that I don't know why I just never paid attention to it on my shorter visits before. But I'm seeing so many indie perfume brands and bigger perfume brands here that I've been picking up a lot of perfume actually.
Is it possible that it's starting to be more of a trend than it used to? Or I don't know, how is fragrance treated like it culturally? Is that as big as it is in the States?
Yeah, I think it's pretty big. I know people definitely want to smell fresh and clean all the time, and that I can see even
Yeah.
just going to like a Daiso or a supermarket, you'll see like a section for room fresheners and clothing fresheners. I'm looking over there because I have one hanging up.
Wait, what's a clothing freshener that hangs up?
It's like a little sachet that you put in your closet and it just
Okay.
radiates a lovely scent.
I want this. Is that a big thing? Like, I don't know.
They sell it at all of
I don't know what I'm picturing.
Young.
Yeah, okay. But it hangs on the rod like clothing.
Yeah, just like a little sachet. Yeah. And you can
Oh,
just
that's smart. I have a bunch of terracotta things on strings. I literally went in my closet recently and I was like, it's looking like a Christmas tree in here because I just keep, instead of like, how you're supposed to spray them again and use the same one, I just like keep getting new
just
ones.
adding
And
new
I realize
ones.
they're just like trinkets around the closet, but hanging it on the rod as a hanger makes so much more sense.
Yeah, there's so many of those things. And yes, I've just been
Okay, back to
purchasing
the perfumes. So tell me
perfume.
about the perfumes. Have you picked up any?
Yes, I have. I have this one. It's from a brand called Nonfiction. And the one I picked up is Neroli Dream. It reminds me a lot of Tom Ford's Neroli, to be honest,
Oh.
but cheaper. So I picked up one of these. I picked up a perfume. Oh, a hair perfume. I picked up a hair perfume at my hair salon. I was getting my bangs trimmed and I was like, what is this scent? So I ended up buying one of their hair perfumes. And look at me doing this hand thing for you.
Yeah.
It smells delightful. I have a
What's
roller
it called?
ball.
That hair perfume.
Oh, it's from there's a hair salon called Chahong, Chahong, and they're a pretty famous hair salon brand here in Korea, and they have a line of products that include, of course, shampoo and all the hair stuff, but also hair perfume and like a roller ball for aromatherapy and hand
Oh.
creams. So yes, they are very big
Is
on
it all
scent.
the same scent or like you can pick your scent?
I think there's limited scents for this brand, and this hair perfume only came in this one scent, and it's called Snug Calming Hair Perfume.
Oh, and the name's in English, Snug Calming.
Snug Calming Hair Perfume, Green Rest. Oh, I'm sorry. In small font underneath that, it says Green Rest.
Snug Calming Green Rest. I mean, literally just throw adjectives at me that I like.
I
I'm
want
into
all of it. So yes, that's how I ended up with this.
What does that smell like to you?
Like Green Rest.
Cheater.
It really does smell very green, though. It does. It smells
Okay,
very fresh.
okay.
Yeah,
It's fresh.
it's very fresh.
And so do you use it just like, I didn't wash my hair today, but I'm just like, just give it a little light refreshing. It doesn't have like hold or anything. It's just scent.
Correct. It's just scent, and that is probably the most American thing about my beauty routine that I don't think I'll ever give up, and it's that I don't wash my hair every day.
Do you find that most people do in Korea?
Yeah, they really do. I hesitate to tell my aunt, she's like, oh, did you wash your hair yesterday? I'm like, yes.
Oh, does it? Because she was like, you should be.
Yeah, there's kind of like an ick, like you don't wash your hair every day?
Oh.
How? And I'm like, I have dry, puffy hair. I don't like washing it every day. It takes forever to dry.
Huh. Yeah. I feel like that memo is pretty well entrenched in the States that the more you wash your hair, the drier it can be, depending on the texture. I know that's not
Yeah.
true for everyone.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's the other thing. At Olive Young, the one product category that I don't see a lot of is dry shampoo, actually.
Oh, do you miss it?
Yes, but thankfully I brought some. And then my friend who came from the States brought me a little extra one because I need them.
Yeah, I don't know anybody with bangs that doesn't have dry shampoo on hand.
Exactly.
What brand from the States did she bring you?
I like the one from the Rudest, the one that's like in the little
Oh, yeah.
packaging. I have it actually. I have everything here. I'm in a small room. Everything's everywhere. But it's the brush on one because it's just easy to carry.
That feels like it would be good for bangs too, because you could just touch up almost like you're powdering your nose.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah. What else have you been loving and picking up, even if it's not beauty related? Now I need like a sachet for my closet hanger. What are they called? What is the product category I need to look for
Oh
this?
my goodness. I would say
Closet
maybe
freshener?
clothing freshener. Yeah. I'll go and look at it too. When I go to the next Olive Young, I'm going to see if there's a sign above it that says what it is, like the category. I'm very much into that. Honestly, okay. The thing here, another big trend here right now, you've heard of bag charms, right?
Yeah, I think.
Like, people are decorating their bags with all sorts of
Yeah.
cute little tchotchkes. But here, they're little plush animals, basically. And they're so cute. And you see everyone from like an elementary school kid to a grandma with a charm on their backpack or their purse. They'll be carrying a nice leather purse, and then they'll have like a starfish. Oh,
She's holding up her plush starfish who only has one. Oh, he has two eyes. Okay. Oh my God, that's the cutest.
He's wearing
The starfish is wearing a backpack, guys. It's meta.
He's wearing a backpack. I have this alien heart. He also is wearing a backpack. And he's carrying an acorn.
Wait, there is no practical purpose to this. It's a stuffed animal hanging off your backpack.
No practical purpose.
Wait, what's in the alien's backpack?
An acorn that has his face imprinted on it.
What? You're blowing my mind right now. So you're carrying your bag.
Yeah.
You're hanging. There's like a heart alien that's wearing a backpack. And inside the backpack is an acorn. What do you do with the acorn? He just hangs out in there?
He just hangs out there. I actually have to find out a way to strap this guy's backpack on permanently because I almost lost it once.
And so are people doing more than one? Because like here on the zipper pull, sometimes there'd be a couple, but like, is it collectible like that? Or you change it up depending on your mood?
I think it depends on the person, but I've seen some girls with 10 of them. I'm like, that looks a little cluttered, but it just so many of them. But yeah, most people will carry one or two.
Says the woman who's got a bag with a heart with a backpack with an acorn in it.
Point taken. Wow. Yeah.
So it's like a fun, just like accessory to your accessory.
It's an accessory to your accessory, and you find these hanging everywhere. You could be in the poshest neighborhood or like the college town. You will see people selling these keychains everywhere. And they're just so fun. I don't know. It just brings a little like dose of happy to my commutes to spot them. Yeah.
Okay, so the charm accessories on the bags. Anything else that you want to share with us?
Okay, back to beauty. I think like I have like a little show and tell here. These I love. They sell these at Olive Young, and what it is it's an antimicrobial sticker that you put on the inside of your cushion pack. So the cushion compact, where you place the sponge, you just switch out the sticker so that it keeps it more hygienic. I don't know. I love things like this. So think about your normal cushion compact, right? It has that little plastic sponge holder, I guess is what you call it. Do you have a cushion pack? I'm like, do I have one on me?
Okay. Here's one that's sort of like it.
Yes. So the place where you would put the sponge normally, where it lives, they sell these little stickers. They're like these very thin stickers. I'm just going to show it to you. That are reusable, and you can buy them at Olive Young. They sell 2 of them in each pack for like, I don't know, less than $1.
Okay.
And it's a sticker. You peel it off, you place it to where your sponge would be sitting.
Right.
To keep it hygienic because,
so the sponge sits on that and it has just some sort of antimicrobial agent in it.
Correct. And so I found out about this because of a makeup artist. She's like, I just switch mine out all the time because.
I mean, you still have to wash the sponge at some point, but in between the washings.
Correct.
This is keeping it clean.
And this is the other thing too. They sell the refill sponges at Olive Young too for very cheap, and at Daiso as well. So I'm in conflict. On one hand, I break out easily, so I want to keep things clean and fresh, and it's so tempting to just get a new sponge, right? And then there's the part of me that's like, I'm adding waste, So it's a little bit of this.
But the antimicrobial does seem smart. And now I kind of like want to just add that into the compact, like it's already a spot in the compact, like it's automatically in there.
That's how I felt
But
too.
yeah, you have to change it. Like how often? Like every week, you think?
I think that depends on how comfortable you are. I have like a germaphobe cousin who always changes hers out, but she also carries her own toilet seat covers. So,
Wait, what?
yeah. So toilet seat covers aren't really a big thing here. Actually, I don't know if I've ever been to a public restroom with toilet seat covers in Korea.
Okay, so she brings her own?
Yeah, they sell individually packaged toilet seat covers, and she carries them in her purse.
Not to be crass, but girl, just hover.
I don't know. They also have a spray attached to the wall of a stall in some bathrooms that's antibacterial that you can like spray onto your toilet paper and wipe down your seat if you want to.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yeah.
What a nice service to provide for the person after you. I can't believe this is how I'm ending this interview on toilet seat covers. You shared some of your favorite products, though, but before I let you go, I have to do the FM5, if you don't mind.
Of course.
So it's our little speed round. And the first question is, what's the first beauty product you remember really loving?
Clinique Happy.
Oh,
I loved that perfume so much. It was my first big girl perfume, and I always felt so sophisticated when I put it on before my 8th grade dance, you know?
yeah.
It just like
That's a good one.
brings back memories. As anytime I sniff it anywhere, I'm like transported back to a sweaty gymnasium.
Totally. Okay, is there a treatment you would never do, either when you were in the States or now that you've seen it in South Korea? What's a beauty treatment you would never do?
I'm going to say anything with like jawline contouring, which is not uncommon here. It just sounds so painful, and there's so much risk involved with it, with the healing. So probably
You mean
that.
like a buccal fat removal or a tightening of the jaw or those kind of like surgical things?
Even more than that, like even there's like they shave down some of the bones sometimes, or they reposition things so that you have a slimmer jawline and smaller face in general, like to get that
So like an
V-line.
orthopedic surgery, a plastic orthopedic surgery to slim the jawline.
Correct.
Oh, I'm not doing that either.
Oh yeah, I heard the recovery. Everything about it is painful, and the recovery there's often a lot of side effects. So probably not going to do that one, Jen.
Okay, let's keep that off the docket. Yes. Jenny, what's currently your favorite snack?
My current favorite snack. Well, I always love popcorn. I love corn chips. It's a Korean snack. If you go to an H Mart and you see corn chips, please pick them up. And corn chips has, I'm going to call it its cousin. It's called turtle chips, which is basically corn chips, but layered. It's like this crispy, light, crispy snack. It's delicious. Jen, you have to try it.
Corn flavored?
Corn flavored.
How is a flavor compared to like a Frito?
Less corny. It's a subtler corn.
How's the salt level compared to a Frito?
Less salty, and also a very subtle hint of sweetness.
So almost like corn pops, the cereal, but in a chippy shape.
Yes, and the turtle chips in particular, they're named that because they're supposed to look like a turtle shell.
I'm getting this next time I'm at H Mart.
It's so crisp.
If they
like,
have it there.
The crunch is amazing. Like the ASMR of the crunch. It's, it's wonderful. You have to try it.
I want turtles right now. That sounds good. Okay, this is the no cheating portion. This is a new FM5. Go into your phone if you don't mind, please, and open up your notes app.
Okay.
And maybe you do or don't use it frequently. Will you tell me what's the last thing you wrote in your notes app?
Dang it. It is a list of all of the tour stops that 17, which is a K-pop boy group, has coming up in Q1 of 2025.
I love this note. And now why did you put that down? Because are you going to be going to all of them?
Not all of them, but I have a friend who's going to a couple of them, and she wants me to join for as many as I can. So I'm trying to go for at least one, because
is 17 your band? Like, are you super into it, or is she super into it?
We're both super into BTS, with 17 coming in. I don't want to say second. That sounds so. Well, we love both BTS and 17.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
That's such a good note app. Okay, last question. If it's like 11 a.m. on your day off, I realize you're on your sabbatical, so a lot of your days are not as steady as they used to be, but like just a day where you're not going to do any work or anything like that, what would you be doing?
Reading something in the morning. I have a book of meditations that I like to read in the morning, like a slow start with lots of coffee.
What's this book of meditations?
It's called, well, actually, the title sounds a little, I don't know, people get confused by it sometimes, but it's called The Language of Letting Go, Daily Meditations on Codependency, which Yes, it covers a lot of themes around codependency, but also there's just like a lot of applicable messages in it throughout because there's a new one for each day of the year.
So you'll read your message.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's footnoted and bookmarked and
Yeah.
oh, it's quite thick. That's
It's
not,
quite
these
thick.
aren't just like your little affirmations. These are like deeper, it looks like.
Yeah. And I found out about it through a writer that I liked. She recommended it during like the peak of pandemic lockdowns. And so I've been reading it every day since for the past couple of years.
Oh, I'm going to look that up and link to it. That sounds like something at least I'd be into, but our listeners might be into as well. So you'd read your affirmation or your meditation for the day.
Yeah.
And then
in an ideal world, I would write something. Well, even if it's just like a little note, just something.
Yeah.
And then what else would I do? I would go on what someone recently told me. She calls it a snack tour, which is exactly what it sounds like. You just walk around and eat snacks everywhere. Brilliant.
Yes.
I would go on a snack tour and then I'd be super full and happy about that. So then I would go to a dance class and shake it out.
Oh, this is like, oh wait, I like how you took this. I egged you on, but it went from what are you doing at 11 a.m. to like, tell a perfect day.
Oh, yeah.
This day sounds very fun.
Yeah, that would be an ideal day for me.
Okay, well, I wish that for you tomorrow since it's like midnight and bedtime in Seoul now. Thank you so much for coming and sharing just a little bit of your experience during your South Korean sabbatical. This has been great.
Thank you so much for having me.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Raise the One product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.